Portugal, of course, played a national soccer match yesterday. Now it's a chance for their rugby team. Lovely moment there for Portugal, David.
Well, a lot of people saying that this World Cup should be reduced to 16 teams. Ask any of those guys, they'd disagree with you.
And next, of course, it will be Flower of Scotland. And you could expect exactly the same sort of emotion. Quite as animated as Portugal, but nevertheless a very important moment indeed for the Scottish national side. So both teams about to get their World Cup campaign underway. There is the Scottish starting lineup, and as I was saying, certainly a very important moment for the halfback pairing, and a very, very strong group of forwards led by the captain, Jason White. And of course, with his back row of Alistair Hogg and Simon Taylor as well, that is going to be a real handful for the Portuguese. I'm very interested as well in the progress of Pedro Leal at fullback there. You can expect to see him come into the line as many times as possible. He's a devastating runner when he's got the ball in his hands. But will the Portuguese get good quality possession? Led there by the number 8, Vassa Uva. There is the referee, Steve Walsh, taking charge of his first World Cup campaign in 2007. Very, very experienced international referee. And it is Portugal to kick off. So Portugal up against Scotland. Saint-Étienne, absolutely perfect, the stadium. The turf looks absolutely immaculate. The organisers here have done an excellent job. 40 minutes each way, of course, and already the bagpipes are playing.
Yeah, good take by Alistair Hogg at the start. And I think expect Scotland just to try and control the pace of the game, to dictate where they play it. A bit of tactical kicking going on, rather than play harem scaring in stance. I think if they fall into the trap, go and play harem scaring from the beginning, they might play into Portugal's hands.
Oh, that was well stolen there. And there's Jason White, the skipper. So Scotland on the march already. keeping it tight in the midfield, and the forwards just a little bit slow in arriving there. But recycled, trying to send it out wide. Good charging run there by Simon Taylor, wearing the scrum cap. Portuguese just being careful not to get offside. Big looping pass. That was well seen. There's the fullback, the big man, Roy Lamont. Weighs over 100 kilos. And when he gets moving, well, could be absolutely devastating for the opposition, but there was a wild tackle there by Portugal, so Scotland will get the first penalty.
Just coming in at the side, a little bit over-enthusiastic there. There you see the ball still covered by the back foot, coming in at the side, offside. David Mateus, prolific try scorer on the IRB 7th circuit.
He certainly is. So, chance at the first line-out. As that kick goes deep into Portuguese territory by Dan Parks. And Parks, born in Australia, but certainly been an integral part of the build-up here
until I come in, okay? And stop.
For Scotland. The first chance for a throw by Scott Lawson.
I'll expect a catch and drive.
Right to the back. They roll round quickly, the forwards quickly in attendance, but actually Portugal trying to roll around that maul. But now the maul beginning to gather a bit of momentum, and this is certainly where Scotland could outgun the Portuguese forwards. This is very, very good control indeed by Scotland. They've gained about 10 metres and another 10 to go. Mike Blair just standing at the back there, the Scottish scrum half, sending his forwards on up to the 5-metre line now. Now they would like to see the ball. Away it goes. Little miss move there, bouncing off the head of Rob Dewey, I think it was. So disappointing end to that passage of play by Scotland.
I think possibly a miscommunication in the midfield there.
Did he beat me then? Okay.
Rob Dewey came on the short ball and Dan Parks expected him to have a cutout pass.
There's the Portuguese scrum half, almost making a mess of it. So that goes deep. Well taken once again. And there's the other Lamont brother, Sean Lamont, just as big as his brother. Trying to stay on his feet, but eventually tackled. Little chip through there by Dan Parks. Saw a good little bit of space there. Bit too far. So back to the 22 for a dropout.
Well, Parks a little bit unlucky there. Just a bit too much on that kick, but it's the right thing to do. Kick for the corners, make Portugal play from inside their own 22 or 30 yards from their line. Make them feel the pressure.
Well, certainly no sign, David, of Portugal being intimidated here. There's Simon Taylor. He's had quite a few injuries in his time as an international player, but he's certainly one of the most talented Scottish forwards there. And once again, Lamont gets going. I'm very impressed with this guy when he gets the bit between his teeth. Little long pass there, that was disappointing.
Well, he's a hard man to stop. He's a big unit, strong and fast.
Time off.
Had a fantastic season when he burst onto the season, and in his first year, a little bit more subdued the season after that.
So the first injury of the game, just on 5 minutes. Not too severe there. I think that is the second row forward, David Penalva. Actually born in France, but has spent most of his life playing rugby in Portugal, or most of his rugby playing life in Portugal rather than France. He's being partnered there today by Gonçalvo Uva, one of the Uva brothers. The other one is in the back row wearing number 7. So chance for the Scottish scrum to impress here. Just wonder what the weights of the two scrummages are. And certainly the front row forward, Rui Cordeiro, wearing number 1 on the far side, is absolutely massive in terms of his body weight.
Hidden shoulders, up high.
Let's have a listen to Steve Walsh.
Hidden shoulders. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
There we are. There are the pack weights, and there is a considerable difference, and that may be telling. Big drive by Scotland. Up to the 22. And the two bodies just getting in the way of the scrum half there. Jose Pinto. A bit of a desperate clearance there by Cardozo Pinto. Well, 6 minutes gone. Sorry, David.
You can see that Portugal is completely fired up for this encounter. The first big international against a recognised side in the Rugby World Cup.
Great take there. That was at number 6 by Jason White. Once again, as Lamont comes in off his wing. And certainly every time Lamont gets the ball, he really manages to produce something special. Now Scotland on a bit of a roll here. This could be dangerous for Portugal into the 22. Didn't quite have the space to operate in there, though. Good passing. And if they could have slipped that away to Alistair Hogg, could have been dangerous. Scotland on the counter-attack now. This guy can motor. Simon Webster. Good tackle. That was a brilliant tackle there by Uba. The chip through. Nobody's really going after it, though, and will run out into touch. So mixed fortunes there for Scotland.
Well, I think Marcus Tirola would have been better to ship it to the big man, Alistair Hogg. A little bit of space. It's a lovely kick by Rob Dewey again, getting in behind the Portuguese defence. Forcing him to throw in at the line-out, and I expect Scotland will want to attack the Portuguese line-out. I'm sure they're bigger than them. Hence, Scott Murray, one of the best line-out exponents that Scotland have had for a long time.
Now you can expect Scotland to attack this throw-in. Joaquim Ferreira. Oh, superb. Scott Murray, the man you were just talking about there. That was brilliant. And no overlap here, so it's route 1 straight towards the Portuguese line. Now they've got good second phase possession. The number 8 Simon Taylor almost bursting through there. Good pickup by Ewan Murray. Good support coming in from Nathan Hines. Scotland can move it across, but Portugal was certainly coming up very, very quickly there in defence. Oh my goodness. Almost put themselves in a dangerous position, but the winger there breaking out very quickly, Pedro Cavallo. Fly half now. Only one thing on his mind, get it as far away as possible. Good kick by Pinto.
Well, it's been interesting. When Scotland had kept it tight, they've been going inside, passing back inside rather than going wide. It's been effective for them, but again, that sort of centre combination, Marcus Tirola, a really untidy pass to Rob Dewey, which he just couldn't hold. But I think it's the right thing for Scotland to do, to play it tight, not to put any width or looseness on the game early on.
A slight injury there to Cavallo, but play continues. Again, route 1 seems the preferred option. That was Marcus Tirola, but hanging on to the ball there. And one or two little simple errors creeping into Scotland's performance at the moment. We'll have to tidy that up because Portugal are being very, very competitive.
There's certainly no lack of commitment from Portugal, and 3 tacklers there on Marcus Tirola. And just hung on to it. Conceded the penalty, but Scotland won't worry too much about competing at the line-outs. You know, they've taken a couple of balls against the head already. They've got a very, very big pack.
I'm not too sure about the tactic of just kicking the ball away into touch here, because Scotland have won 2 line-outs on Portugal's throw-in here. And once again, that's almost 3 out of 3. Good driving run there by Alistair Hogg. He's gained about 10 metres already, and that was good hands by the scrum half. So just outside Portugal's 22, and once again an opportunity for Scotland to attack. The ball just comes popping out like a bar of soap there. Good run there from Hines, but a loose ball.
Advantage to Scotland.
Oh, my goodness.
Hands
the
up.
ball is flying all over the place at the moment. Now, can Scotland settle? No, there was a knock-on, so there'll be a scrummage, and it will be Scotland's put in.
Well, a great position for the scrummage. Just a little bit scrappy. And some of the big units coming into play for Scotland. Nathan Hines there. Simon Taylor's had a good few carries. Alistair Hogg.
So Mike Blair getting ready to put the ball in, but they'll have to reconstruct that scrummage.
No, bind and touch.
Louis Cordero is the man that Steve Walsh, the referee, is having words with. And he's saying, whoa, what, me, ref? There he is. He's not gone down again. There's a free kick taken quickly by Simon Taylor. Simon Taylor goes on. Needs support. Gets it now. Scotland have got an overlap here. This could be a try. Lamont going through. And you don't stop Sean Lamont from that sort of distance. It's hot. It's his brother Rory.
Well, he had a fantastic match against South Africa. And he's really beginning to make this fullback shirt his own. And that time it was, good opportunistic play. Simon Taylor taking the quick penalty, getting in behind the Portuguese defence, and then good quick ball. And Lamont taking the direct route one line and really brushing aside two tacklers there.
Well, he was double teamed, wasn't he? But the impetus, the momentum he had just took him through there. Over 100 kilos in body weight. And when you're moving that quickly, you're so difficult to put down. So it's a lead after 11 minutes. It's been a little while coming, but that was decisive. So Dan Parks, his 33rd cap today. And that was an excellent kick by Parks. That adds the extra 2 points.
Well, here we are again. Good pass by Jason White. Could have gone outside to his brother Sean.
No, he was going for the goal line himself, wasn't he? Well, I don't think there was any way he was going to pass that ball.
He was only about 10 yards away from it, and when you're his size and you got his pace.
Scotland 7, Portugal 0, coming up to 13 minutes of the first half now. Simon Taylor there, just easing into that situation where Scotland now stay on their feet, just get themselves reorganised, and this will take a huge amount of physical effort away from Portugal. Ball goes to ground now. Good pick up there by Scott Lawson. A little bit tight in terms of the passing. There was no real width to that. Scotland once more. Big high towering kick. Right into touch, being taken quickly by Pedro Leal. Goes to him himself, and a little bit of a slice there, but that was well taken. Superb, and the back row forward. Alistair Hogg goes charging on. Good to see Portugal trying to counter-attack, though. Certainly no negative play from them at the moment. Lamont. And he's through, looking for support. He won't need it. That is 2 tries in a row for Rory Lamont. Well, he scored his 2nd and 3rd tries for Scotland as the Glasgow player. Being congratulated by his brother and the rest of the guys. But that was really weak tackling by Portugal, I have to say, and it has brought great delight to the Scottish crowd.
Well, it was pretty straightforward. Scotland had a lot of width there, and then Rory Lamont is 2-on-2, great fend of Diogo Mateus. But as you say, it was weak Portuguese tackling. He had options. There's another weak tackle, just brushes off the scrum half, Jose Pinto. 2 tries in as many minutes for Rory Lamont.
So bloody left leg there, and Dan Parks only 14 minutes into this game, and that is a healthy scoreline for Scotland. And certainly the willingness of the whole Scottish team to really turn it on over the last 5 minutes for those 2 scores. 1 out of 1 so far. And that looks as though it's 2 out of 2. Well, they've certainly got a great place kicker sitting on the bench, and that, of course, is Chris Patterson. But with guys like Dan Parks around, well, it doesn't matter, really. That's a 100% record from the 2 tries. Good effort once again by Scotland. So Portugal restarting. It's 14 points to 0. 2 converted tries, both by fullback Rory Lamont. And here goes his brother. Sean is such a strong individual. Parks, 1 or 2 good touch kicks so far. That doesn't quite make touch, but well picked out there by Somoza. Right down to Scotland's 22. So just playing table tennis at the moment. This is Federico Sousa back inside. That ball screwed down just beyond the halfway line. There's certainly a lot of energy in the Portugal side, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. There's no lack of effort, no lack of energy. But you can see the Scottish coaching team very content with the start. They've controlled the game, they've controlled the tactics. They're dominating at the touchline.
Another great take at the back of the line this time. Now the rolling maul starts. And this is where Portugal really could come unstuck if the Scotland machine really gets moving. Good effort by the hooker again. Scott Lawson knew exactly where the rest of his players were. Broke away. Scotland keeping it tight at the moment, just driving Portugal further and further back. Marcus de Rollo goes to ground quickly, and Scotland recycle it quickly. And Scotland certainly lined up on this side, but that has been stolen by Portugal. Great cheer from the crowd goes up. And Ferreira it was who got it back to his outside half. And there's the big centre, Sousa. Hanging on to the ball, is it, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mike Blair was a little bit irritated by the fact that the Portuguese seemed to come right through the sort of round side of the ball to steal the ball. But Sean Lamont clearly on his feet, trying to rip the ball away, and just Rico Sousa hanging on to it. No question about that being a penalty.
Well, that's one of the first things you teach a schoolboy rugby player, isn't it? When you tackle, release the ball.
Well, I think when your back's against the wall, you try and do anything and hold on to it.
Well, that was a superb kick there by Dan Parks. A little smile on his face. He gained a huge amount of distance there, kicking from the wrong side. He was right-footed, but he only had a little bit of distance between himself and the touchline. So that was the perfect angle there. Now, who's this going to? That goes to Jason White. Big Jason White there, right in the centre, marshalling his players. And now they try and go again. It's desperation for Portugal, because the more that Scotland do this to them, the more fatigue sets in, and the more that Scotland will gain the upper hand. Alan Jacobson right at the back. Wing forward there has got the ball. He released it. Didaster Hogg.
Off the knee, off the knee.
He said it was off the knee, so there was no knock on. There's the hooker once more. Scott Lawson.
Use the man.
Oh, obstruction?
Well,
there's obstruction in
so they
the
ran into a man in front of him. I have to say, I think Steve Walsh has been quite kind to Portugal. Clearly, I think it was Joao Uva came in at the side there to try and stop that rolling maul, and he just needs to be a little bit careful of that. I think Scotland trying to control the ball there.
So just coming out to 20 minutes, I hope our pitchside reporter Matt Spiro is listening to us. And Matt, what can you tell us about the atmosphere down in the two camps where you are?
Hi Paul, I certainly am listening to you. It's not easy, because I tell you, the atmosphere is absolutely electric here. We saw Frank Haddon sitting in his seat. He's in the stand, in the Pierre Foron stand, which is absolutely swamped with Portuguese. You mentioned before the links that the Scots have with Saint-Étienne, and there are plenty of Scots here, of course, but there are also a lot of Portuguese. There's a big Portuguese community in the Loire region, and they are in good voice so far, encouraged by a resilient start by Portugal.
Well, they certainly are. Thanks very much, Matt. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Meanwhile, that was a good clearance by Pinto. Oh, my goodness. And Sean Lamont there, absolutely burying his opposite number. And here goes Scotland once more. They've got width to this. De Rollo is brought down by Sousa. Scotland still hunting for the ball. It's a little bit scrappy. They've got to get more control, have Scotland. And Portugal certainly making life very difficult. But here we go again. Look at this run here by Scott Murray. Reminds me of the great Cuban runner, Alberto Monterina, opening wide his legs and showing his class.
Yeah, gotcha.
There you go.
Knock on.
There's Lamont, but that was a real burst of speed there by Murray.
It was a great take by Sean Lamont there, and poor old Pedro Cavallo. It just came off second best there.
Time off,
but again, I think, you know, Portugal coming in at the side, it is a little bit scrappy.
Came in with a bit of a swinging arm, connected.
Seven red, he's talking about Uber. Just swinging.
Have you got a number for me on Reece?
Okay. One of the Portuguese that's come off worst here. That's
okay.
The spray and not steam coming off it.
We're going back.
Steve Walsh is perhaps going to have a chat with somebody. Portuguese captain.
Number 7. Yes. Swinging arm.
And Uber.
Got a blue player. We're going to go back for the penalty back there against you, okay? No foul play in the game, okay? Swinging arm.
So a little bit of indiscipline there in the Portugal camp, and might be made to pay for that. And certainly within striking distance of their line. So penalty to Scotland. Now will Scotland go for touch, go for position? Did you spot what happened? Yes, there.
I think he's probably a little bit frustrated that Simon Webs is holding onto his head there, but notwithstanding that, he shouldn't have swung his arm, picked up by the touch judge.
Yeah, it was very easy to spot and to penalise. So, line out to Scotland. Scott Lawson, who's hit his target every time so far. Good throw once again. Scotland on the charge. The back row forwards being used so effectively there. Very tight, and it's a try. Oh, is it? No.
Put the fire out and you took the fire out.
Well, Lamont once again going for a very, very early hat-trick. But penalty there?
Well, I think Steve Walsh suggested that one of the Scotland players might have held one of the Portuguese players back. Or maybe just a dummy runner there. Yeah, I think Jason White was the dummy runner.
Well, that's very disappointing for Scotland supporters because it was a well-taken try. And, well, we're only 22 minutes into the game. That would have been one of the quickest hat-tricks of any World Cup that I've ever seen. So, Portugal to throw in. Let's see if Scotland attack it once more. Yes, they do. They're making life very, very difficult indeed for Portugal in the line-out. And they've got such good jumpers. Once again, Mike Blair trying to get that ball away quickly. Taken on, but left-handed. Blair swings it away to the midfield. Little pick up there, straight out to Lamont on the far side. Darts back in. Great strength being shown once again. Little kick over to this side. And is it going to be taken? Oh, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant by the hooker. Well, what about that?
Well, Dan Clark's, for all his defensive frailties, he is an excellent tactical kicker, and he landed that one on the sixpence. Scott Lawson standing out wide, just waited for it to come down, and the Portuguese were all far too central in defence.
Can you sort out the corner post for me, please?
Well, that was just his second try since wearing the Scotland jersey for the very first time, but quite important. Lovely hanging kick there by Parks. Straight into the arms of the hooker.
Beautifully weighted.
I wonder how many times they've practiced that. He's got a very safe pair of hands, hasn't he, Scott Lawson? Thank you very much. So Scotland leading 19 points to 0. And Portugal's World Cup baptism, well, it's been all one-way traffic so far. It sounds like a fully blown pipe band in the background there.
I think it is. Just then the stand below us.
Dan Parks. Oh, absolutely wonderful kicking from the outside half. The perfect record. And it's all about Scotland at the moment.
Well, Frank Haddon said it was how they played in the first 20 or 30 minutes, which was going to be really important in this match. And I think, you know, they're just about a point a minute, so you'll not be too disappointed. It's been a very controlled and disciplined performance.
Scotland 21, Portugal 0. Coming up to 25 minutes of this first half. Little knock forward there by Scotland, and a charge on now by Portugal. Mateos trying to stay on his feet, but Lamont is in support there for the Scottish defence. So is Marcus Durello, who just peels off. Now, a chance here for Portugal, perhaps. Pinto. On the outside half there. Duarte Cardozo Pinto just getting into a bit of a mix-up with his centre. I'll have to come back there, and the scrummage this time will be a Portuguese put-in.
Well, having said it was a disciplined performance, there was a rush across for the head there.
Please.
Not a great pass. Roy Lamont couldn't handle it. Portuguese put in.
I think, David, we can expect a big drive here from Scotland.
Come up, please. Quickly, right.
They're certainly outgunning the Portuguese, both in terms of technique and weight. Watch Scotland go. That was a good pick-up by the number 8. Once again out to the winger, Mateos. And almost a steal there from Simon Webster. It's Portugal. Still have an eye on the ball. Forwards try to drive on. And here go Portugal. Crunching tackle on Diego Mateos, one of the two Mateos brothers. And there's nowhere to go there for the flank forward, Uber. They've got to spread it wide, because around the fringes here, Scotland have got it all tied up. Good pass. Strong run from the fullback, Pedro Leal. Haven't seen Pedro Leal come into this game too much, but he is a very tricky player. And Portugal going away very, very quickly with that tap penalty. Only 2 metres out from Scotland's line. Outside half there, Pinto acting as scrum half, the captain coming in close contention, driving forward. This is going to be another forward shove if they get good possession. Scotland hunting for the ball. No way through. There's a blue barrier there being put up in front of the Portuguese. Jose Pinto. Going out wide. Little slip forward. That is a try. That has come from the winger, Pedro Cavallo. And Portugal will be absolutely delighted. You could have been forgiven for thinking they were down and out, but they've come straight back with a try of their own.
Well, if you look at the celebrations, you think it's really might have just won the World Cup. But they deserved it. They put pressure on Scotland, they tried tight drives, and Scotland held out well. And it was just when they moved out just a little bit wider. Fly half, lovely little offload. And Cavallo did extremely well to take it and scuttle over.
That was a good driving run by the outside half, Guato Pinto. And look at that for a scrambling try by Cavallo. Big smiles all round for the Wolves of Portugal. Well, that could make a little bit of difference to the psychology of the Portuguese team. And Scotland now have just got to settle and make sure they take back control. But let's concentrate on this kick for the time being. First conversion attempt in World Cup history for Portugal. And it's successful. I was hoping it would be after that big build-up.
Well, interestingly, I think the whole thing came from Scotland just losing a bit of control at that first kick-off from the restart after the Scott Lawson try.
So Scotland have restarted after Portugal score, and they're going to hit back quickly. That surely is a try as well. Oh my goodness gracious me. Is that Marcus de Rolo?
No, it's Rob
Dewey. Well, what about that? We didn't even see the kickoff. There it is. And straight down the throat of the Portuguese. It was just a quick pickup, a quick handoff. And Rob Dewey there diving over. His 9th cap today and his 4th try for Scotland. Very, very big and strong, and that was the perfect finish.
Well, you have to say, weak Portuguese defence, I'm afraid. David Mateus just brushed aside by Rob Dewey. He's a big, strong fella. But the ideal response from Scotland.
Was so disappointing in many ways, though, for Portugal, because that really took them by surprise, didn't it?
Well, it did. It was a very good restart by Dan Parks. He does these big, high-hanging kickoffs.
So Dan Parks trying to convert for Scotland once more, and the cheer says it all. That is a convincing scoreline, 28 points to 7 in the first half. Just taking a look once more, and Rob Dewey's try, born in England, but of course wearing the thistle of Scotland with huge pride now. Just over 30 minutes gone. Scotland 28, Portugal 7. The restart by Duarte Pinto for Portugal. No such histrionics as we just saw from the Scots after their restart. That was a good tackle though on Rory Lamont. But Lamont still had the wherewithal to get that ball back so that Parks could punt the ball downfield. That was a good take by Pinto though. Not afraid of attacking the Scots. That was a poor kick. Unfortunately, Simon Taylor couldn't quite gather it in.
External offside, okay. Lost forward.
Steve Walsh just saying to give Portugal the benefit of the doubt.
I think they were appealing for obstruction after the kick.
Yeah. Three big Scottish forwards there.
Well, they were just tracking back.
Touch, please touch.
The kicker ran into him rather than being obstructed.
Well, Rio Cordeiro, maybe the biggest man on the pitch, the #1 for Portugal, right on the far side, the ball-headed guy.
Yes.
He really is having a tough time against Ewan Murray.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
And Scotland driving on as they have done so many times as Vasa Uba gets buried into touch by Jason White, the skipper. He'll have to come back for the penalty. So we're coming up to the last 7 minutes of this first half. And with the exception of that Portuguese try, this has all been about Scotland during this first half. The captain there of Portugal just been slid out into touch, but chance once again for Pinto.
Just to let you know, I've got an echo in my ear.
Certainly the crowd not obeying the unwritten law of silence during conversions. They're just enjoying themselves. So Pinto for Portugal. Lovely kick. 3 points for the Portuguese. And they're into double figures.
Well, I think Jason White there penalised for not binding. Although he is technically, he's got a hand and it was a clenched fist, but Steve Walsh absolutely right to award that penalty.
So Scotland restarting after the Portugal penalty. And very, very quickly away and attacking once more. 28 points to 10 at the moment. Scotland are leading. And Portugal on the back foot again. Mike Blair out to his outside half, Dan Parks. Dan Parks trying to feed his centres. Parks looking for it once more, misses out Lamont. No tight on that side, no real room to manoeuvre. They've certainly got space on this near side of the pitch if they want it. Good drive on once again by Scotland, 5 metres out from Portugal's line. Looking for options. And it's the number 8 there, Simon Taylor, just brought down a metre short and stolen by Scotland, but they're going to be penalised.
5, Rucker 4.
Well, no, the tackler not rolling away at all there on Simon Taylor. I think Mike Blair expressing his frustration at the contact situation. See number 7 there, he's just lying, preventing the ball. And then second row, big second row comes over to try and seal it, Penalva.
Thank you.
Interesting to see if Scotland go for the scrum here.
Up into the back.
They certainly have the edge in both scrum and line out.
Absolutely.
Please, take him to the side, please.
So, referee instructing the trainer there to take David Penalva away.
When you're ready, please.
Simon Taylor.
Okay.
Good driving run once again. He's so difficult to bring down.
Scrum, blue.
So 5 minutes left of this first half. Scotland leading by 18 points.
Touch, pause, engage.
Steve Walsh controlling that scrummage. Here goes Scotland. Whoopsie daisy. Driving on. Taylor just controlling it with his feet. But the penalty given.
Leave them alone.
I wonder if they'll take the scrummage again.
Scrum it again.
Well, I think I would. It's supposed to grinding down the opposition.
Slight problem to one of the front row forwards there, Alan Jacobson. Just stop the clock.
Looks like a full pass, perhaps.
Yeah. Just get a chance to talk to Matt Spiro just quickly before half-time. Any sort of reaction coming from the Scottish bench at the moment?
It's all pretty calm at the moment, Paul, on the Scottish bench. Some concerns as well about Scott Murray's fitness. He started the game with his right leg strapped. He's now got his left leg strapped. That happened just after Dewey got the try. So we're going to keep an eye on Scott Murray and also what's going on at the moment. But no, for the time being, Frank Haddon and his men seem pretty content with the way things are going out there.
Okay, thanks very much.
Well, I think that's Steve Walsh just saying they need a new prop. Very fortunate to have Gavin Kerr sitting on the bench, who's tremendously versatile. Plays both sides, just signed for Edinburgh. Having been down at the Borders last year.
Was born in my favourite city in the whole of the United Kingdom, Newcastle upon Tyne. So a little bit of reorganisation by Scotland. That's disappointing, isn't it?
Well, it is. If it's a serious injury, Achilles or a calf strain, that could jeopardise the rest of his World Cup campaign, which would be a real shame for Jacobson.
Well, certainly in some of the crowds that we've seen in the World Cup so far, the old Mexican wave gets going very, very early on. They can't be bored, surely, because this has been full of vim and vigour in the course of this first half.
Your problem?
Last few minutes have just been a little bit laborious, 1 or 2 stoppages, but we're right on Portugal's 5-metre line here. So a really good chance for Scotland if they can control this scrummage. Well,
3. You're hitting
bit of a battle baptism of fire in the front row there for Gavin Kerr, but it was Ewan Murray that was penalised there.
Well, I don't understand that. You can see the loose head didn't get his bind, which is why Murray just slipped down there, and I think he should be penalising the loose head for not going for the bind. It's Portugal who are under pressure, and why Murray would collapse intentionally there was beyond me.
Yeah, Cadero, I think, is having a torrid time on that side of the scrum. And my temptation, if I was refereeing this game, would be to take a closer look at him.
Number 3 is diving into it.
Just as they engage, Cadeiro's got his back arched, and you know, if he's in a good position, he'd have his back straight.
Just come down the middle.
A little bit of a hollow in it. So we get underneath Ewan Murray, and I think Ewan Murray's doing a good job there.
Paul, just some worrying news. A stretcher is being called for Alan Jacobson, and the medical staff are rushing around to the other side of the pitch to attend to him.
Yeah, that is disappointing news for Scotland. Maybe you could update us on that after the end of this half. But here we go, Portugal, but in the safe hands of Rory Lamont.
Playable.
Just 2.5 minutes to go before the half-time whistle.
Sure.
Well, a bit of a shame that the 10 minutes either side of half-time, really important to assert your authority, and Scotland were in a great position. Rory Lamont's had a fantastic game. He's very solid under the high ball, very courageous.
Sorry.
Well, 2 tries for the big full-back already, almost had a hat-trick.
Engage.
Scotland once more, pick up there by Simon Taylor. Out to Lamont. Being supported by his brother. Good recycling by Scotland. And certainly Portugal are having to put their bodies on the line here because there's constant bombardment by the Scottish forwards.
Well, I think Steve Walsh might think about going to his pocket in a minute. His continual infringements by Portugal at the ruck and maul, trying to steal ball. That's the second time they've been penalised for handling or trying to sweep the ball back.
And Dan Parks happy to boot that ball as far downfield as he can.
Of course, I might have a slightly biased perspective on that.
Well, I'm sure you would, but it's fair comment. Good take there, of course, by Scott Murray. Across, inside to Lamont. Just slipped the ball to Lamont there, but being stolen there by Portugal. Oh dear, I'll have to come way back now. And Portugal once again being penalised. That's about 4 or 5 penalties on the trot against the Portuguese, and Vasa Uva there, the captain, looks totally perplexed.
Well, they're going to be on their feet. You see he's down there on his knees. It's clearly a penalty there, and they're just continually infringing. I think you know, the more they go on like this, he's fallen down, he's ripped the ball away, handling in the ruck, so obvious. You see Alistair Hogg's frustration on his face.
Well, they certainly have got these very patriotic gum shields, so it's quite easy to identify whether somebody is a Scot or Portuguese in those situations. So we're coming up to the last 30 seconds of normal time. A chance here for Scott Lawson. He'll hit his target, and I bet these guys go thundering on. They release it, though, into the midfield once again. Marcus Turolo, just 8 or 9 metres out. Just trying to remove that Portuguese player, but penalty given.
Well, he's just lying there again, and you can understand why Mike is so frustrated. Well, I think he's going to go to his pocket now.
Repeatedly offending against your team.
Yes, there you go. You predicted it absolutely correctly. He's gone. So we won't even see him at the beginning of the second half.
No time for a line out.
And certainly he's been one of the major culprits, hasn't he?
Absolutely. You know, he's been penalised a couple of times, and I mean, I'm surprised Steve Walsh didn't actually warn him a little bit more, unless he did and we didn't hear it. But
so chance for Scotland. If they got a 7-pointer here, you could say it's just about all over. And that's a great driving run there from Scott Murray. And the referee wants Dave Pearson, the TV official, to have another look at that.
I want to know if it's a try.
Goodness only knows whether he can make sense of that. The referee just saying he wants to know whether he dropped it over the line or whether it was hands down on top of the ball. Say Scott Murray doesn't look too confident. Ooh, that is not a try.
No, I think that's right. You're absolutely right. I think teams know when they've scored and they know when they haven't scored, and he clearly dropped it there. There's no downward pressure. That's no try.
I wonder if they regret not just having the 3 points in front of the posts and going for the try.
Well, interesting. I think I might have gone for a scrum. You know, 7 men down, dominating the scrum under the posts. I'd have gone for the scrum, but there we go.
I'll just take another look at it, but I think we know the outcome already. And the man himself will regret that. That was a definite scoring opportunity. And I think that may well be the last act of this first half. Well, certainly we're getting plenty of free plays. Surely Dave Pearson, the official, has made his mind up. There we are. No try given, but still a pretty useful performance by Scotland, but up against a dogged Portuguese side. At the end of 40 minutes, it's Scotland 28, Portugal 10.
Well, undoubtedly one of the magic moments of this Rugby World Cup tournament. Carvalho, the winger, scoring Portugal's first try in Rugby World Cup history. And they look excited about that. Welcome back to this Bank of New Zealand halftime report. 28-10 to Scotland over the new kids on the block, Portugal. James Ryan, All Black, joins me now. And James, Portugal, they'll be soaking this up. They'll be loving it, won't they?
It's just great for them to get an opportunity to play in games like this, tournaments like this. They'll just be loving every minute of it and learning a hell of a lot from it too.
Andrew Mertens, what about Scotland?
Well, I think this is a good game for Scotland. We saw that New Zealand really needed probably a harder game than this sort of a game in their first up match. I think the Scottish need time together. They need time with the ball in hand to get their attack sorted out. They haven't had a good time of it in the last couple of years, and getting a bit of confidence, running with the ball and sort of linking in with one another is going to benefit them a lot, because I think they could be a dark horse.
Rory Lamont, the fullback here, and normally it's his brother Sean doing all the scoring, but showing real strength there.
Well, they had a lot of space out wide, and he scored 2 good tries, Lamont, but he still had to sort of rely on that speed and strength. They're not great at getting it out quickly. So, you know, a couple of big don't argues there, and he goes over, and he did well, and he was quite rightly pretty chuffed with himself. But I just think the Scots aren't great at the moment at getting the ball wide to space, and they certainly will need to be when they come up against the bigger guns.
Yes, and well, let's take a look now at the match statistics for the first half, and they're quite revealing when you look at this. 73 tackles Portuguese have had to make over Scotland, and 19 of those have been missed. The other big possession, the other big statistic there, James, is that possession and territory very much in favour of Scotland. So there we have it, 28 points to 10. And we'll be going back to Saint-Étienne for the second half of the match between Scotland and Portugal right after this break.
Thanks, bud.
Well, the teams are back on the field at Saint-Étienne, and remember that Portugal have a player in the sin bin. Let's go to our commentary team now, Paul Dickinson and David Sol.
Etienne to get the game underway. Scotland 28, Portugal 0 at the end of half-time. Portugal 10. So Dan Parks restarting. Well taken there by Diogo Mateus. 40 minutes left of rugby for Portugal to try and make inroads into that 18-point lead by Scotland. Slightly sliced there by Pinto.
And of course with one man down.
Yes, we've still got the flank forward in the sin bin, haven't we? And he's going to be there for about another 9 minutes or so. So that will certainly not help Portugal's course, but here we go. Immediately Scotland with a very deep line on the attack, offloaded by Lamont. Looks as though Miguel Portela has come on for Portugal. He'll be wearing number 22. And Lamont there absolutely buried underneath the bodies. That was taken very flat. And the pace on the ball was too quick. But here goes Portugal. Good little break out by the captain. Professor Uwe there just bundled into touch. The ball's still in play, but not anymore, says the touch judge. Good charging run there by the tall Gonçalo Uwe, wearing number 4 for Portugal.
I have a couple of pieces of information for you, Paul. Miguel Portela has indeed come on. He's replaced the outside centre Federico Sousa. And just regarding Alan Jacobson, perhaps slightly more reassuring news. The injury is a calf injury. He is being assessed at the moment by an orthopaedic specialist in the Scotland dressing room.
Well, thanks very much for that medical bulletin, and I'm sure all Scottish fans will be relieved to hear that. I certainly think, David, when you come to World Cups like this, the sort of medical facilities are set up in such a way that absolutely no chance will be taken with the welfare of any player, and I think that stretcher was precautionary more than anything else, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. And it looked like he was clutching his calf as he went off, and the ice pack was on it pretty much straight away.
Come back on. Come in,
I just hope it's not a serious tear.
So the hooker Joaquim Ferreira of Portugal hasn't had a huge amount of success with his throw-ins, because every time he's put the ball in the air, the Scottish forwards really attack it, and they've come off best so far. That was a poor throw, and Scotland do come away with it. Good passing by Scotland. Well, put the kiss of death on it there, didn't I?
Poor Marcus Aurelius not having one of his better games in the Scottish jersey, I'm afraid.
Both cheating, I think. Was your guy letting go?
Couldn't quite hear what Steve Walsh was saying there.
So like both cheating.
Yes, well, that's what I thought he said. Seagull's pipe band. Now, where on earth did they come from?
I've never heard of the town of Seagull. It's not far from Gullen.
Boom. Well, he laid down on one knee, just trying to get his contact lens back in. Conditions have cooled off a little bit here today, which I think is good news for all of the players. Because at half-time, everybody would be taking liquid on board, but not suffering so much. See that player right on this side, Rui Cordero, a prop forward there, breaking away from his binding once again. I was out of the sight of the referee on that occasion, but that was a wonderful, wonderful kick there by Dan Parks.
Well, that's what he's best at. And that lovely perfect kick for the try in the first half, and that was a beauty as well. Now, I think Scotland will attack this line out again, see if they can steal it.
Big tall fella at the front there wearing 4, Nathan Hines, great jumper. Next to him, another great jumper, Scott Murray. Now, which way did Portugal go? That was well taken. That was a well-ordered jump there by David Penalva. Portugal just getting the advantage there, just driving forward 3 or 4 meters. So for once, Scotland were on the back foot. Good kick by the outside half. Pinto, there he is. I've seen him play sevens as well, along with Pedro Leal. And they were a great couple of players in, I can't remember which sevens tournament it was. It may well have been Cardiff a couple of years ago when they came over from Portugal. There's the take, though, by Scott Murray. Trying to charge through midfield again. What I think was Simon Taylor standing midfield, switching it away to the left-hand side. Good darting run here by Scotland. There was a great run there by Rory Lamont, once again into the Scottish line. Out wide, that was aimed for Lamont, and the breakaway here coming from Pedro Cavallo.
He's offside, I'm afraid. He's going to have to go all the way back.
He still hasn't realised. And there is Steve Walsh. Now that guy hasn't stopped smiling since the whistle went for the start of the first half, but he must be frowning now. A definite penalty for offside. And presumably there, Vaso Uwe saying, oh, come on, ref. What a disappointment for the youngster.
And there's a long trot back.
Jason White, the skipper, just with his back to us there.
Move the ball.
He thought he'd done it all.
A hero in Lisbon. Look at that look of disbelief on his face. What? Offside? You could be joking.
I think the Portuguese football team last night drew. Got a feeling it was 2-2.
He wants the TMO to have a look. I don't think there's any question about offside.
I'm just thinking, you know, with the Portuguese side only getting a draw last night in soccer, that little bit of excitement would have brought all of the Portuguese bars to life tonight. But a chance now for Scotland, just about 8 or 9 metres out from Portugal's line. Portugal not even attacking that, and just going into defence. What a great little shove there. But unfortunately, they've just pushed Scotland further into the midfield, where they've got options on both sides now. Deciding to keep it tight, but look at that. That is a wasted opportunity again for Scotland.
9, if you want it reversed.
Well, they were just in a little bit of a hurry that time, Scotland. It's a great defensive drive from Portugal.
Instruction. Yes, I know.
Scotland just got in a little bit of a hurry.
Well, they should be back to full strength quite soon. The yellow card will disappear off the top left-hand corner of the screen, off that caption, when the sin bin is empty of the Portuguese player. I don't know who it was now. Was it Uva?
Yes, it was.
The back row forward? Yes, it was.
Uva. Taken down, and watch, they're just ahead when they set up that second driving more. Ewan Murray digs into the ball. I think it's Nathan Hines who's preventing the defenders from getting at them. So a good decision by Mr. Walsh.
Come on and stop. Thank you.
Joaquim Ferreira had success last time with his throw, and that was a brilliant take there by Gonchala Uva. Obstruction there from Scotland.
That's not straight.
No.
Just come up and fraction for me.
There's a clear indicator who's reaching with an outside hand.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Scotland with the put-in. Good control by the Scottish forwards there. Lamont in the line once again. Offloaded to his brother, but made a mess of it. And the outside half, Duarte Pinto, puts it into touch, and there is Carl Uva urging himself, or urging the linesman to tell the referee he wants to come back on because his spell in the sin bin is over. So Portugal back to full strength. Just getting a shake of the hands there from his captain. And that was contested, but palmed down by Scott Murray. A little bit scrappy at the start of this second half, isn't it?
Well, it is. And Scotland will be disappointed they haven't capitalised by scoring any points whilst Portugal reduced to 14 men. And just as you say, a little bit scrappy there. But, you know, you have to admire the tenacity of this Portuguese side.
Touch.
And certainly haven't been overawed by the occasion and all the opposition.
This tall. Scrum.
He's having a word with Rui Cordeiro once more. It's the man in red on this side of the scrummage at prop forward. A little bit of a scrappy pick up there by Vasa Uva.
I made a real mess of that.
3.
Well, you can see Rui Cordeiro's really trying to sort of almost scrummage under Ewan Murray's armpit, which makes it very difficult for Murray to actually get a grip. Mr. Walsh coming across to this side again. His head's right outside there.
That's Steve Walsh actually just shouting stay bound on. Whether it was to the prop forward or to the one on the wing forwards, I'm not sure. But anyway, Scotland have possession. Diving back inside is Taylor. The ball being stolen by Portugal. They've done that a couple of times. That was good. The number 7 who just come back on, Uva. Just shoulder charging his opposite number from the Scottish pack. Is the substitute Miguel Portela. So Portugal have a bit of quality possession now, looking for options. They send it wide. That's the winger, Pedro Cavallo, the man who thought he'd scored a try a few moments ago. That was a bit lucky. The ball goes bouncing off 2 or 3 players, eventually into the arms of the captain. This is about the longest passage of play that Portugal have had during the whole game. Now can they recycle it once more? Bassa Uva says yes. Trying to dart inside, goes the fullback, Pedro Leal. Leal, the fullback, is such a tricky little player, but he had a couple of real touches of the ball during the whole match in terms of attacking opportunities. A bit of a wrestling match going on there. The crowd shouting for Portugal. That was a good charge down there by Rob Dewey. Advantage to Portugal, though, for the time being. There's the skipper, Uva. Took it on a metre and got shoved back 2 metres. Knocked on, though. It's come down.
Well, Nathan Hines was throwing a few handbags
13
on the touchline.
Number 6. There's a shoulder down there.
Paul, Scotland getting ready to make a change here. Hugo Southwell is ready to come on. Marcus Di Rollo is the man set to make way.
Thanks very much indeed. I think that was possibly a substitution that we were expecting, wasn't it?
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether Southwell goes to the outside centre or Simon Webster comes into outside centre, and they have a bit of a cabinet reshuffle, put Rory Lamont on the wing and Southwell at fullback, which is his normal position. I'd like to see Southwell going outside centre, I have to say.
So the substitute is on, Hugo Southwell, for his 31st cap in the Scottish jersey. Just another slight hold up there. And looks as though the hooker is going off. That is Joaquim Ferreira and Correa coming on for Portugal. So fresh legs in the scrum. Appreciating the support that he's had from this crowd here. A little bit of concern on the face there of Tomas Moraes. But big applause for his players. So another substitute on and off. There's one of them on this side, Paulo Murinello, wearing number 18. Straight through goes Pedro Leal with a little grubber kick. That's returned with interest by Scotland. I think it's going to go into the dead ball area. Now, what will Portugal do from here? Touch it down, off to the 22. No risks being taken there. Well, certainly a bit of the fizz has gone out of this game. We're 11 minutes into the second half, and Frank Haddon still looking pretty cool, calm and collected.
Well, I think he probably knows the game's in the bag, but there's a lot of work to do.
Nevertheless, Bassa Uva onto Flower Uva to Pinto, just popped it over the top of the Scottish defence, and it goes out into touch.
I think Jason White just needs to get a hold of his guys and rev them up a wee bit.
I think Hugo Southwell trying to take it very quickly to Lamont. So coming up to the 53-minute mark, it's still Scotland 28, Portugal 10. No score in this second half so far. And certainly in the second half, the Portuguese pack has been holding their own. In fact, more than holding their own against the Scottish forwards. And in the middle of the pack there for Scotland, Simon Taylor. The scrum half just having to drop onto the ball there with Jose Pinto. Now, can they recycle it? The ball is at the back of that ruck. Picked up there by Somoza. The penalty now to Portugal. And Charlo Uva with the ball in his hands there. Gives it to his outside half, Duarte Pinto.
It's just where your man is. Thank you. Play.
Trying to rev up the Scottish team is the pipe band. But that will be the throw into Scotland just inside their own 22.
Well, I think it's Alistair Hogg there. You can see the offside line is the back foot, and he's probably a foot or so ahead of that.
Well, there you go, a bit of success for Portugal at the line. If they can stay on their feet here, they might have a chance of pushing Scotland back, but it goes to ground. And certainly Jose Pinto, the scrum half, desperate to get his hands on that ball. It looks as though Portugal will keep it tight again. They roll towards that far touchline. Good driving run there by Uva. And you've got the weight there of Cadera behind you. That's going to create a few meters for Portugal. Now they spin it away. That was about the only mistake that Pinto has made in the whole game. You see the frustration written out on the face of the outside half. Took his eye off the ball.
Just took his eye off the ball, and I think Alistair Hogg would be a little bit frustrated that he didn't pick it up, because there was no one home behind him. And Scotland really need to assert themselves again. Very controlled in the first 20-30 minutes, but they've gone off the boil in this middle part of the game. They did the same against Ireland in the warm-up game.
The Portuguese prop there just keeps slipping his binding all the time, and I just wonder when Steve Walsh is going to have a word with him. However, that's not for us to contemplate. Portugal still in possession. Diogo Mateus. And now Scotland have stolen it. Comes out to this near side. A little pop over the top there by Sean Lamont, who goes racing on. It's a foot race now and a chance. Oh my goodness. That was almost a pick-up by Rob Dewey. But Scotland get the penalty.
To your feet.
And that just shows you what Scotland are capable of when they get quality possession. The kick across field now, not to the hooker, but this time to Rob Dewey. Just a metre short, but there's no support there. There's the hooker. Has a look up. Passes it on to Lamont. Lamont stays on his feet. Spins around. Now needs the force to drive him over. Pick up there by Nathan Hines. Here goes Scotland. Taylor. That is a try. A simple try for Dan Parks. Well worked in the end, but boy, it was a long time coming.
Well, it has been a long time coming, but again, made by Sean Lamont to run up the near side touchline and forcing Portugal to concede that penalty, which was taken quickly, and then good recycling. Lovely offload there by Simon Webster to Dan Parks. And you just wonder whether this is a sort of stimulus for Scotland to cut loose now.
Well, we certainly have seen that when you get a big nation, a big rugby playing nation playing against, please don't take this the wrong way if you're Portuguese and listening, against one of the rugby playing minnows. You know, they can put up a fight for so long, but then the huge physical advantage that Scotland obviously have over Portugal can take its toll. So we shall have to wait and see. But Dan Parks, obviously the top scorer for Scotland in their World Cup campaign so far, adds another 2 points. He really has got his kicking boots on here. So Scotland leading by 35 points to 10. So 7 points to the outside half. Dan Parks in that last play. Good try followed by the conversion. Just wonder how much lift or fillip that Portugal can give themselves now. It looks as though Chris Patterson is coming on. Matt, can you see any activity down on the touchline?
That's right, Chris Patterson is on, and the man who has scored the most points today is making way to a good ovation behind the Dan Parks being replaced.
Well, Chris Patterson, one of the top point scorers of all time, of course, in a Scottish jersey. Will be a welcome addition to the Scotland team, I am sure. But certainly, Dan Parks has played particularly well today. That was good. And Portugal have got men over here. Oh my goodness. It was that man, Pedro Cavallo, there. He's been a useful player for Portugal. Just took his eye off the ball there, so Scotland on the counter-attack. Just getting a little bit isolated there was Jason White. Playing advantage,
No
but
hands from there, please. 22.
penalty to Scotland.
Well, again, Portugal getting their hands in the ruck, and it's very frustrating for Mike Blair, just slowing the ball down. Having said that, I think Scotland have got to be a little bit more aggressive in the contact areas. They were bullied a wee bit by South Africa in the warm-up international, and they're just not quite dominating that phase of play in the way that they'd want to, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly Scotland have got to have one eye on the fact that the step up in terms of quality of opposition is going to be a severe test for them. And if they wanted to try anything, not dramatic, but try any new moves or whatever, this would be a very good time to have done it.
Well, they have got Romania coming up on the 18th of September, which will be another physical test for them, but you know, you would expect to win that match comfortably as well.
We've just seen fresh legs come on for Portugal. Manuel Moura, as Scotland go on the attack once more. The offload there to Simon Taylor. Certainly been one of the outstanding forwards here today of Scotland. Oh, that was a loose ball. Portugal almost got their hands to it. And here goes the winger once more. A little offload to the substitute, who's going to go over in the corner. Hugo Southwell scores for Scotland. That is his 8th try representing Scotland, and his first Rugby World Cup points. So the score goes to 40.
Well, a little bit scrappy. It's becoming quite open, and when the defences begin to lose their shape, people like Simon Webster really reap the benefit of it. Another little jinking run, and then Southwell on the outside. Easy running for him. And you do just wonder whether the floodgates are about to open. We're approaching the last quarter of the match. Portugal being very game opponents for the first 60 minutes.
Well, Chris Patterson in his career, 568 points. Ah, my goodness. 570, and it was very, very simple. That was a difficult kick, but he took it so well.
Well, he's got the best percentage as a goal kicker of anyone in world rugby.
That's right.
People think Dan Carter or Johnny Wilkinson be up there, but it's actually topped by Chris Patterson.
Well, Paul, the substitutions coming in thick and fast. Just to let you know, Rui Cordeiro was the man who made way for Moura for Portugal. Scotland have made a double change. Scott McLeod and Kelly Brown, the two coming on, making way, Scott Murray and Jason White.
Thank you very much indeed. So it could spell bad news for Portugal with those two guys coming on. A couple of very experienced international players. That was a monstrous kick there by Scotland, almost down to Portugal's 22. Chris Patterson, good player over the years.
Interesting contrast in kicking style between Chris Patterson and Dan Parks. Patterson favouring the torpedo style kick, whereas Parks tends to go to the end over end.
Which style do you prefer? I'm of the old school, actually, the torpedo myself.
Well, you're talking to a front row forward here, Paul. Yeah, I've got
it. So Scotland into Portugal territory once more. Scotland just got to be careful there. A few hands going in. But referee was right on the spot. Right out to the wing. Lamont has it. Once again he does, as he does so often, stays on his feet and commits 2 or 3 tacklers to bring him down. Lamont on this side too. Well, the slip pass there didn't quite come off. At 25 metres out. And Sean Lamont there almost acting like an extra forward. And Portugal defence has just got to be aware here. That was a looping pass which slowed play right down. So no way through this time for Rory Lamont. Still outside Portugal's 22. You can have no complaint whatsoever about the amount of commitment shown in defence about Portugal. That was knocked on. Well, so his kicking boots might be on, but his hands weren't too good there.
Come back here for the knock-on, mate.
It's just a little bit static. You know, Scotland, when they're getting quick ball and recycling quickly and bringing runners onto the ball, they're looking very, very dangerous. But when it's static, they're passing and not actually coming onto the ball at all, and it's just... Well, you can see they're not really progressing at all.
Punch thrown by number 16, Red.
Yeah.
Right.
I can bring you up to date.
Steve Walsh.
A couple more changes. Sorry.
You happy with the penalty?
No, you carry on, man.
We're about on the field.
Just gone off for Portugal, being replaced by Diogo. And Scotland are preparing to make a fifth change. Rory Lawson is about to come on, I would assume, for Mike Blair.
Thanks very much indeed. I was about to say, you know, the legendary French sports newspaper L'Équipe has a star system in terms of the entertainment value and the quality of the game. And I just remember seeing
your guys. No more punches in the game.
Listen to this first.
Okay? Cut it out.
The captain there just being warned that one of his players was guilty of a punch thrown. But the star system is supposed to represent the quality of the game, both in terms of rugby and entertainment value. And notice the England performance the other day had something like a 2-star rating, England versus the USA. I wonder how many you'd give out of 6 for this.
Well,
Captain?
they're actually looking, Scotland are looking a bit like England in the last sort of 5-10 minutes of play. They're very static. No dynamism to it. They're still probably in 3rd or 4th gear. You know, they haven't hit full steam yet.
Well, they have in patches. They certainly did early doors in that first half when they had a bit of a tri-fest on there through the exploits of Rory Lamont. Maybe they can score from here and about 8 or 9 metres away from Portugal's line. The forwards haven't quite got that rolling maul sorted out, have they? But here go Scotland. Little mismatched midfield there, and it didn't really come off again.
Very static, no pace on the ball, and actually fairly straightforward for Portugal to defend.
So Lamont just bringing the ball back to the penalty. Henderson just putting it out on the full there, so we'll have a line-up. You can almost guarantee that this time the take will be Scotland and the driving maul will be on. That was why Portugal were penalised. Here we go, Scotland on the attack, 5 metres out. And they haven't really put together a concerted rolling maul during the course of this game. Portugal have almost spoilt it, but that is better. Over the line, certainly. But they'll have to come back for the scrummage. And that too could be a very interesting prospect ahead for the Scottish forwards.
Well, it's interesting. Scotland have tried this rolling maul consistently this evening, and they've tried it in the past. And I think they'll need to think very carefully about whether it's a tactic they employ when they come up against the All Blacks, or indeed Italy, who have a very solid and robust tight 5.
So a little bit of a roll on here for Scotland. 5 metres out, they prefer to release it. A little bit of a dummy run there by Lamont. Lamont staying on his feet. And he's going to try and get the ball back if he can. Mike Blair absolutely screaming for it. And Portugal sniffing around there. Oh, dear me. That was very disappointing from Scotland.
Well, as you say, it has been fits and starts. They had a couple of tries just a few minutes ago. I'm sure that that's entirely legal, is it?
Just about trying to rip his head off.
Well, I say the colour of Sean Lamont's hair, he may be mistaking for the ball, is he?
Now, Paul, it looks like both teams are making a change at scrum half. Luis Pissarra is coming on for Portugal, replacing Jose Pinto. And Rory Lawson still waiting for the go-ahead, is just coming on now for Scotland.
Well, Rory Lawson will be looking for his 8th Scotland cap. There goes Mike Blair. Just out of shot at the moment. There is number 20, Rory Lawson. So first touch of the ball there for Luis Pissarra. The captain picks up, goes on his own. Dangerous tactics when you're so close to your own line, but that has given a little bit more space for the clearance. And in the end, that was good play by Portugal.
A good push up of the front row battle. Power there by Vasco, the skipper.
He doesn't look a big muscular player, but he's certainly showed very good strength, very good mobility throughout the course of this game. Coming up towards 70 minutes. Scotland 42, Portugal 10. And certainly Scotland looking, well, I think they've got the bonus point for the number of points they've scored here today, but they'll certainly be looking just to put this game totally and utterly beyond doubt, which I guess it is already, but they will certainly want more points on the board. That would boost their confidence. Lamont goes once more. The fullback looking for a hat-trick. Here's a try by Scotland. Kelly Brown, he's only been on the park a couple of minutes, and already he's scored. His third try for Scotland.
That was better. Again, Rory Lamont is definitely been the man of the match from a Scotland perspective. They're always threatening, big, powerful guy, and this time a lovely offload to Kelly Brown in the right position where every good flank forward should be, just on the shoulder and support. There he is. And a good score for the border.
So Chris Patterson hoping to make it 2 out of 2. Amazed the power he manages to get into his kicks with such a short run-up. His technique is absolutely immaculate. And once again, Rory Lamont so influential in the scoring of that try, but it was Kelly Brown who got the touchdown.
While that conversion was being taken, Scotland made their last substitution. Scott Lawson making way. Ross Ford, the player to come on.
Thanks, so that means that the whole of the Scottish squad, as you predicted, David, would get a bit of a run out here today.
Well, I think Frank Haddon always wanted to give all his guys a run out. He did in the warm-up internationals. It's the right thing to do.
That was a good take. Good little sidestep there. Just missed out Lamont. And just bounces over the head of the Portuguese captain, Vaso Uva. Into touch. Good kick once again by Chris Patterson. Interesting that, of course, it is a Scottish player that holds the record for World Cup points, isn't it?
Big Gav.
Big Gav.
Someone step, please.
So walkie-talkie, an essential part of the team management's armoury now when they're sitting on the touchlines talking to each other. We'll have some players sitting up in the stand, or some of the management sitting up in the stand, some at ground level. Good tackles coming in from Scotland. No way through. Oh, I was going to say no way through. That was a good little break there by Pedro Cabral. Good pickup. That was good work by the back row. Master Hogg doing some great work. A little darting run there from Patterson, and high tackle on Rory Lawson. The play carries on, getting closer to Portugal's 22 once again. Nathan Hines, who's had a very good game here, particularly in the line-out, of course, just towering over his opposition, but Portugal have got it. There he goes again, the skipper. Vaso Uva doing great work, and Scotland have been penalised.
Well, I'll be disappointed. They've just turned over the ball in situations. Ewan Murray going a wee bit high there, perhaps.
I don't know, you know, it looked to me as though he just didn't have an arm around his throat so much as he just had a hold of the guy's shirt, you know, high up. I don't know. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it?
I don't think he was penalised for it, but equally I don't think the fellow who's tackling Rory Lawson, Cabral, was penalised either, so quid pro quo, I guess.
So almost on the halfway line. Time is running down for Portugal. Scotland almost to the half-century of points. As Correia is over to take the throw-in. He's built like a little ox, this guy. Looking for a good throw-in. And that was a good take by Scotland, stealing it once more at the line-out. Certainly they've had the lion's share of victories at the line-out. But Chris Patterson darting inside, sidesteps two of the Portuguese players, eventually caught there by Somoza. Lamont swings it across, a little chip forward. Oh, that was a bad bounce for Leal. Leal wants to take it quickly, though. Good enterprise by Portugal. I wish in a way, you know, that Pedro Leal was playing closer to the scrum, because he does change the pattern of play every time he gets the ball for Portugal. There's a dangerous little run there by, it was Cabral. Just on the 22. A little bit of a shove there by Ewan Murray. Leal. It's not going to make touch. Lamont swings it across. There's his brother. Good tackle. Lamont once more. And to Rory Lawson. And they turn it over again. Can you believe it? Look at this number 8 go. Been saying what power and speed that Rory and Sean Lamont have got. Well, I'm very, very impressed with that number 8. And the skipper of Portugal, Vasa Uba. They swing it across. There's Leal, right in the midfield, trying to burst his way through. He's just slowed enough to be tackled eventually by Simon Taylor, but Portugal still have possession. A real chance here. And this man going for the line. He deserves a score, does Pedro Lavallo. And Cavallo almost scored there. Pedro Leal, the number 15, looking both ways. And a metre short. Now the Scottish defence are having to really organise themselves. Pizarro there shouting for support. And that is a try. No, it's not. It's a penalty.
No, he's just trying to blast his way through a la American football. I think they're just...
Number 16, way past the ball. Back 10. Back 10.
Well, certainly Vasa Uba, the captain, not taking that lying down, was he?
Well, you can see there, he's just running a block, trying to open a gap there.
You've been watching too much American football. Running a block?
Yeah. But a fantastic run there by Cavallo. I mean,
it was lovely.
The crowd were willing him to score. It just caught by Chris Patterson in the end.
Well, he was the guy, of course, a little while ago who thought he'd scored a try for Portugal, but didn't quite manage it. And look at this, a second row forward. Gonçalo Uva having to chase that one back. Just over 5 minutes to go. Scotland have a healthy 39-point lead.
Luckily we got him.
And Steve Walsh certainly enjoying himself, as I'm sure both his...
Well, that was a huge clearance kick by Hugo Southwell.
It was, wasn't it? Scotland on the charge again. Patterson just lays it off to his number 8. They come back the other way. Lamont pops one over the top. The chase is on. The bounce could decide it. The pick up there. And that is another score, this time from Ross Ford. Big smiles for Ross Ford, his first Scottish try in 13 appearances, and he's absolutely delighted.
Well, intelligent play by Sean Lamont, but again, coming from quick ball. And Lamont, just no way he was ever going to run through those 3 Portuguese defenders. So the wee chip over the top. And the ball popped up for Ross Ford. A little bit of a shove there for Guichard, the substitute. Obviously going up on the big screen. The crowd not liking it. Whistle.
So Chris Patterson This to make a total of 574 career points. Wearing the Scottish vest. Absolutely rock solid. So there we have it. Scotland have burst through the 50-point barrier. A half-century. Little push there by Lamont on the opposition, but that was a great try. Scotland leading 56 points to 10. You know, we're saying, you just said there, David, that it was quick ball that made the difference. And how many times did we say that when England were playing the other night against the USA? If only they could have got quick ball, and of course they rarely did.
Well, I think if there's one area that Scotland need to concentrate on over the next couple of games, it's the contact areas. They're just not clearing the tackle quickly enough to release quick ball, and it gives you so many more options.
We certainly saw that the other day when New Zealand absolutely demolished Italy. The amount of very quick ball and the darting runs of the three-quarter line. A hat-trick, of course, by the flying winger Doug Howlett. That was a poor pass there by Hugo Southwell. Hasn't done a huge amount wrong since he came on. Referee playing advantage, but they'll have to come down for the scrum.
Just bits of the Scottish performance a little bit flat. It's always a tough situation when you go into a match like this. You're expected to win, but the opposition, the underdogs, always incredibly fired up. You're on a hiding to nothing. But I think they'll be happy with their 56 points, as indeed will Portugal be with the way they've competed.
I said it for a reason.
Actually, just a quick question there for Matt Spiro. Matt, am I right in assuming that Rory Lamont has been named man of the match?
Not quite yet. We're anticipating that. The announcement was the attendance, which was just over 34,000. So.
Right, I couldn't quite hear that, but I'm going to ask David actually. Would Rory be your man of the match today?
Oh, I think so. He's been at the heart of everything that Scotland have done that's good. He's very secure under the high ball. 2 great tries, and he's just such a strong and powerful runner. Whether he gets the same amount of latitude against the All Blacks remains to be seen, but no, he'd definitely be my pick.
So under 2 minutes to go in this opening encounter for both sides, and let's not forget it's Portugal's first ever appearance in any of the 6 previous World Cups. And although there are a huge chunk of points behind Scotland, they certainly haven't disgraced themselves by any stretch of the imagination. Quick hands there by Luis Pizarra. And there's the tricky little fullback, Pedro Leal. And Scotland have turned it over. It's Ross Ford, the try scorer, the last try scorer, just cleaning that up for Scotland. A big hoof downfield. Scotland just trying to take the pressure off themselves as this match draws to a close. Only 30 seconds to go. So, David, your summation of the match. Has it been a good performance by Scotland?
Well, it's been a bit of a curate's egg. Good in parts, and I think plenty for them to work on. But, I mean, the important thing for them coming into this match was to get the win, to get the extra bonus points, and they've done that. They've achieved the objective. They've opened their World Cup campaign. They might have started a little bit slow, but
it's a free kick to Portugal. Just over the 80 minutes, so we'll have time for this play and then little else.
Paul, I've just got some slightly surprising news regarding the man of the match. It hasn't gone to Rory Lamont. The vote has in fact gone to Portugal's captain, Vasco Uva. So somewhat surprising, maybe a bit of a compassionate vote there for the Portugal captain making his debut in the World Cup.
No, I actually agree with that. I said Rory Lamont before because I saw a picture of him when the announcement was being made. But I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Vasco Uva has had a tremendous game for his side, and without him, they certainly could have been a lot further behind than they are now. So the referee blowing, that surely is the last act of this game. There we are, that is the end of it. And Portugal looking a little bit stunned. They finished 46 points behind the Scottish total. So a little bit of an anticlimax to finish with, David, but nevertheless, a confident performance, and certainly the bonus point will come in very, very handy indeed. The full-time score, Scotland 56, Portugal 10.